Welcome, everybody, to the Monday, July 8th Park and Recreation Commission meeting. I appreciate everyone being here and welcome back from, I guess, some vacations that people had and sickness. So it's good to be back to the regular schedule on Monday. So thank you for showing up tonight. As we go through the agenda, we'll just go line by line. And if we need to jump around or pause or skip, we will do that, but let's try and stay as consistent as we can. In the open forum for public comment, we do not have any guests present. We do not have anybody on Zoom either, so we're good to go. As mentioned, no meeting guests, shares, updates, as I always do. Any updates I'll give throughout the night, nothing that's glaring right now, but we'll just keep on going. So now we'll jump into the director's report, and we'll hand it over to both Stacy and Hannah.
All right, so summer events, kids night out and cornhole tournaments. I'm gonna check in with Chris about the cornhole and see where that's going, because it seems to be unpublished, but I'm not really sure. Chris Burnham.
7/12 was canceled. I sent out emails last week. We didn't get the numbers we wanted.
Perfect, so we'll push on 8/16. Both kids night out and cornhole.
Just
cornhole.
Sorry.
Okay. So it looks like we have summer camp by vendors up first. Those are our programs that we bring in to offset our programs. Often, most of the time, they're before and after our camps. Once in a while, like week 1 for Portal 2 Adventures. Let's call it what it is. It's D&D. It's Dungeons and Dragons. So, we have some kids going over that. We got kids test kitchen a little bit. So, you know, if they're wildly different than our programs, we will offer some during our programs, but most of them are before or after. For our stuff, we're gonna go to season passes. We're creeping up there. Pool passes, and I think Hannah's gonna pull up at some point in the report the daily swipes.
Oh,
So the actually cash and credit card coming in for the daily passes is significantly higher. It's looking more like a trend that people are going more towards that, so we may have to adjust our membership fee. Because in order to hit the membership price, you have to go like a significant amount of times per summer, which between the hours and days that we have and the number of weeks and people's schedules, it's more conducive for them to just pay as they go versus buy a membership. So you'll see these numbers are lower, but our daily passes have increased significantly.
And what do you think that, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
oh,
And what do you think that means, dollar wise, because it's probably gonna hit our revenue number pretty hard.
I think it's gonna shake out close. I think we're gonna be slightly lower, but I think we're gonna be close because I think people are still paying often enough. It won't hit the 475, but it will hit. It's significantly more already than last year. And I think it's mostly due to the fact that people are going away more now. Like we are now 4 years out of COVID. People are going away for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there. So it doesn't make sense to buy a full membership if they don't think they're gonna be here that often.
And how many daily passes, get you a
47,
pass? I'm sorry?
47 and a half.
You have to
For
come 47 times?
you as a single person have to come 47 times to make it
And then
realistic. If you have a family of 5, it makes more sense to buy a membership. If you have a family of 2, it might make more sense to pay as you go.
Okay.
So I think after this summer, we'll shake it out. Do you have some numbers for us?
So for up to date for totals, we have 467 scan-ins. 255 of those being residents, 16 being non-residents. And then it looks like countless, which would be daily passes is 196. However, it doesn't look like that it's very accurate because the system is not being measured right now, but we definitely have a lot.
And we can pull those numbers at the end of the season per day to see and then track it versus the weather report. Like we know when it's rainy and it's not great. 4th of July was a good indicator of like, it was very busy and then dropped.
mhm.
And this weekend was very much like, we were busy, we were not, we were busy, we were not. just based on the weather.
Was it we open again this year?
When did we?
Yeah,
We opened for the weekend, the 15th and 16th.
of June, right?
Yeah, we closed during the heat wave, but people loved, and then we opened the following weekend for the rest of the season.
Wow, that's good then.
So currently, according to the public, we are open till August 11th for our full hours. We've been looking at the schedule that has been posted. It looks like we're gonna be able to open, we're gonna stay open closer to the end of August. We may have to shorten our hours a bit. We just wanna confirm with our very confident teenage staff that perhaps they don't have to go to early sports training in the fall, in August, or aren't going away. So we just have to confirm with those folks to make sure that they are gonna be here and they can work.
I know, excuse me, I know you're walking a very fine line with that, but I think that August 11th date hurts us a lot in terms of passes, right? I think in terms, why would you buy a season pass if you know you're gonna be done August 11th, which to me seems really early. I understand the reasoning, but, you were open to the August 20 something, right? 20th,
Yes.
28th, whatever that is. I think that would have helped a lot, so.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't know how to say to the public, we can guarantee to the 11th, and we're just not sure about the rest without causing more confusion than
Right.
there already
No,
is.
no, we have to make sure we can deliver what we say we can deliver, but.
Right, so
I
I know.
think that's a big
deliver.
issue, and then it sounds like perhaps the pricing, even though we think this pricing is what we need to support the pool, it may be getting a little too pricey for the people that are our patrons, so.
In the last 2 years in a row, we've been able to stay open later, but I don't know that I can count on that
Right,
every year, because of the amount of turnover. And the amount of kids that are coming in, you know, we've got a lot of 16-year-old kids, which seems like they can work later, but if they're in a fall sport, they can't necessarily or don't want to work in August while they're in double sessions or triple sessions or whatever, so it's a difficult thing to, like, how do we publicize? We're gonna do our best, but we're not sure what that is.
right.
We're,
I don't know
we
that.
can guarantee this.
Right, I don't have an
And then-
answer, I just know August 11th is still, feels like the
It's-
middle of the summer.
It's early, I agree.
So, completely misspoke earlier. I don't know what the system was doing, so I apologize. But to date, we've had close to 7,000 people.
7,000 people.
Wow.
So again, we don't know what the system was doing. I'm
That's
still a little
membership.
confused.
So that's
Daily
both
pass.
daily
Yeah.
pass,
And how many days you
No,
put
that's no, that's just memberships.
Oh, so that's not daily passes. So 7,000, but then you can
30.
lots of repeats, right?
No, no,
If you're- No,
22 to 30. Plus 2,
So was asking how many days we've been open.
yeah, 22 to 30 plus 2, plus 8,
That's not good enough.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's good.
18 days.
got it.
So 7,000 scanners,
Three
and
hundred.
7,000 people have come into the
That's
pool
good.
who have a pass.
And the highest recorded date was, it looked like it was July 7th with,
Yesterday.
Yeah, I was gonna say yesterday.
Wow.
no, it was the 23rd with,
So the weekend, open weekend.
Oh, that was that opening weekend, right?
Wow.
Yeah,
so.
How many people that did?
666.
No, if somebody comes in and out a couple of times, you get reported each time as an in, or are they not double counted
It's per day.
per day.
per day?
So if you come in and you wanna leave, you just tell a person and then they don't recount you.
Okay.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's awesome.
Well, I mean, great that we're doing as well as we are, so I'm concerning that the passes are so far down, but let's see where we end up.
Right, right.
Okay.
Swim team, higher than ever. They actually have their first home meet tomorrow night
Yes.
versus Medway.
It's Hollis Millis Med
Way,
Way.
yes. That'll be tomorrow night. Our stroke clinics are jumping up, so that's good. Summer camps. So these from the last meeting have
Mhm.
jumped significantly.
Which I think you anticipated or.
I did anticipate, so usually
See it coming.
people sign up for a couple weeks and then we get multiple signups, so. Also, today was the first day of our summer bridges and ESY camps. So bridges and ESY are school programs where the kids go to academics or social emotional things. Kids are on APs, go in the morning, and then they get bussed over to us in the afternoon. I won't say that it was flawless on the first day. We had some hiccups, but, that's just another, it feels like another first day for us, but it went well.
And where are those kids, Stacy, are they spread throughout these camps, or are they in,
So they're in
is
the
there a Bridges-
ESY kids, the
Yeah.
ESY and Bridges kids, they all go to, Broadmeadow, so that's summer recess.
They're all there, okay.
So they're either adventurers, explorers, depending on their age, but they all go to Broadmeadow.
And does the school program pay for those?
The program does not pay, right now, it's about 70% financial aid for those
Okay.
folks. I think we have the total this year is less than 20.
So that would be scholarship, but I would think of it as scholarship money
Yeah,
that the Park and Rec
absolutely.
Department gets.
Yeah. Yep. So I think of it as money forgiven versus money not taken, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think of it as a lot, as lost revenue. If
Correct.
those kids weren't here, wouldn't have sold those spots.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
Yep.
Thinking.
So as you can see, tennis still up as the highest. Our next highest is our adventurers. That's our ages 7 to 11. That's one of our core groups. Close behind that, explorers, ages 5 to 7, and then we have sports specialties. And then KOB is up there pretty high, that's our drama camp. And then the other ones are sort of filling in. Our engineering camp is this is our first year
Mhm.
for our engineering camp. We have 40 kids over the 7 weeks, which is phenomenal. Congressman Jake, that's the one. I will say his
Say
name.
that
out
again.
loud.
Awesome.
He visited us on July 3rd.
Very good.
Because engineering camp was doing water restoration and apparently that is very important to him. So he came by, it was very,
Got some
Excited.
publicity for that, right? I saw that somewhere.
yep, a little bit. I mean, we only had
Yeah.
5 kids in the camp, we did let them know,
Mhm.
but they came by, it was a good opportunity for both the staff and the kids to see. But yeah, that program's, as you can see, the numbers are up and down, up and down. But those are our camps. Any question on summer camps?
How's the staff doing?
Great. We've got a lot of new staff. So we've got some counselors that are like, we've got a good group of counselors that are fine. First year, doing fine, figuring out the ropes. I have a lot of confidence that they'll be great. We've got a lot of good site supervisors. Those are our top people at each site. So we have, we're at the high school, Broadmeadow and Mitchell. So we have a site supervisor, and then under that, we have group leaders for each of we have 3 camps at each site. And then we have counselors and CIT, LITs, and things like that.
Do you want the daily apps scans, cause I just.
You finally found it? Yeah, that's good.
2,800.
Wow.
That's what we've had for
Daily
total
passes.
daily passes.
And those are either resident or non-resident, those are both.
And as far as the programs go, do you feel, like they're as well attended as last year and the year before?
Yeah, I think they're right about the same. 4th of July week, as you can see, is a big drop in almost all the camps.
Mhm.
Everything else is about the same. We're right around the same as last year.
So pricing is still okay?
Yep.
Our pricing model for
Yep.
those is
Pricing.
probably okay.
Swim lessons. So we're catching up to where we were last year. Devin and I and our supervisors for swim lessons are starting to look at this and being like, well, maybe we don't offer every level at every time. Because if you look at the 11:30 time slot, across the board, very low.
Right.
Morning times and late times, very popular. So we're considering combining some of these lessons next year and maybe bringing in adult water aerobics or adult something
Sure.
in the slots that aren't super popular. So that we are offering both kids and adult programs. We've had a lot of requests for adult programming at the pool. So now that this is our second year of full swim lessons,
Mhm.
really seeing where things shake out and seeing what we need to do to adjust.
Right, I mean, it's just, people just don't like that kind of fun.
I don't like that time slot, and so what we get is kids going to camp, 8:30 time slot, very busy, because then they can still make it to camp on time.
Mm,
12:15, very busy, because those are the kids that are not in camp,
mm,
and so they typically go for the latest slot. The younger group, so that's adult, child, and little sharks, you can tell by the way the numbers run where nap times fall. Based on the time slots. So we just have to kind of look at that and rejigger and see, okay, if we have this many swim instructors, what's the best use of their time? Where can we fit in other things? And how can we add more programming to the pool? Like I said, pools are up and running. We are running very smoothly. We haven't had to run out for parts in a couple weeks, so that's good. It's always a positive. Yeah, a few things
Like
we
that.
had to take care of, but we're good. Capital projects, feasibility study, the first public meeting, and that is for public input, will be Monday, September 9th. That's our first meeting in September. Claxton Field, Cataldo will be starting construction. They did reach out and say we want to start putting down the, environmental barriers and the berms and things like that, so we're now moving our adult softball programs to different locations.
Understood.
The physio playground, no new updates, and the tennis courts, we have received draft approval from the planning board. We're waiting on final.
what does that
document.
mean?
You want
Yes,
Go
so
ahead.
the draft approval goes to Chris Heath. And basically, the nuts and bolts say that the project has been approved. Chris Heath has made some adjustments. Most of them are very legalese and not on the things that we would care about. So the hours are the same, the no pickleball is there, the 8 courts is there. So everything we wanted is there. There's some language in there about whether it's a structure versus a building and things like
Not
that.
significant to our project.
None of, so I looked through his edits, none of them are significant to our purposes. What he's editing makes sense, because it's not a building, which is what I think planning board's template usually is.
Sure.
So those are the things he's adjusting. I got an email back from him this evening, I haven't had a chance to look at it, so I think we're moving in the right direction, but my understanding is the project has been approved as is.
So they're not asking for any trees or whatever?
That was in our last proposal, the
okay,
tree, so
right.
everything in our last proposal was approved.
So the next step from there, like what, is there anything else we need to get from
So
them?
we're just waiting for Chris and the planning board to finalize the documentation before,
That's it.
and then we're good, and then we can go to the next.
Fall
So,
town meeting, yeah.
so I need to submit to CPC by the end of this week.
Even though we've already.
We have to resubmit because it's a new fiscal year.
Yes.
They've asked me to basically just resubmit the same thing with the new documentation.
Oh,
Yeah.
And to be available
Yeah.
in August or September for, via Zoom
Mhm.
to just go through the same slide deck that,
Oh, okay.
that we've already.
So would we also kind of jam our liaison to
Yeah,
Yes.
help
Yep,
talk
we'll
up
do
this project and push it forward?
We have a meeting on the 31st. And they give you written questions and something like that.
yep, it's the
I
same,
was here, I missed the last meeting.
Oh, yeah, because it was last Wednesday and you had. a
Yeah.
meeting that
so
same night.
same questions, same, like,
Yeah.
due diligence questions have come through. All the answers are very similar to what we already had.
Right.
Their liaison is like, pretty much everything's the same, we just need to resubmit because it's a new fiscal year.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I'm sure I have to say, please,
Yeah.
our strongest advocate.
Everybody was very in favor of the proposal anyways.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be any problem.
Sweet.
Great.
And then lastly, our Arts in the Park, our first concert was, June 27th. We had a brand new group, which I think going forward, we won't have a brand new group the first week.
Yeah, I was, I didn't.
It was not well attended, and I'm thinking, We should really go with the Needham Community Band because it's a kids band and they have a built-in audience of parents. So
Okay.
maybe we put those folks first to be like, here we go.
Yep.
This is what we're doing. But we have Southern Rail coming, which is a bluegrass band next week on the 18th.
Awesome.
And
And
then,
it's going to, I guess.
Oh, I go to all of them. I also have someone that's going to be hanging out flyers at all playgrounds, some fields, town buildings, and then tomorrow we're gonna go basically door to door around the town common to ask to hang up
that'd be nice.
flyers.
sure, yeah.
We
To our
also-
business owners. and
About
put
the
some flyers
arts
up.
park,
Yeah.
Are your links shareable on social media?
Yes.
Okay.
We also talked about possibly doing a feature story in one of our local
Yeah,
shapers or.
Sure, with all the papers.
yeah.
Those.
Yeah,
so
Well, what's the report that goes out every Thursday from the town?
News you
You-
need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
news you need, definitely should get something in there.
Yeah.
Well,
What is
yeah, you
that
guys already did it.
Yeah.
You gotta sign for it.
Already in there.
You can email every Thursday with the town, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, Amy Nelson is our Director of Public Relations and Communications, so basically a public information officer.
Oh,
Mhm.
And you can sign up online.
We'll sign it.
I thought if you were signed up for one thing, you were signed up for.
You gotta sign up for everything.
There's a lot of things you can
A
sign.
lot of
Okay.
signs.
And that is the director's report.
Rick?
Hannah, do you have anything to add?
Oh, very good, thank you. Any follow-up questions from anyone on the commission?
I just asked one question, so.
Right ahead.
Are those the up-to-date figures on the quick badges?
Mhm.
So there hasn't,
As of Friday.
so there's been none sold since last meeting?
No, there was a few, I
Few,
would say
well-
a handful,
Okay,
yeah. Nothing huge.
probably made like 2 of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's. So no, I do have to say, stay with court badges while we're here. For baseball, there were some games last weekend before the 4th of July and this previous weekend. And the courts were filled at Mills on Sunday morning. Like I was there at 8:15 and it was packed with pickleball players. Everyone was, cohabitating nice, and then later in the morning into the early afternoon, Tennessee got it. So just to see that many people and like you kind of hear the stories of like, oh, they don't get along. From what I saw from Mills, didn't hear any issues, running as smoothly as possible, no one parking illegally or in bad areas. It was nice to see that many and have it very organized as it was.
I will make a note too, Wu is now on vacation for 3 weeks.
Wow.
3 weeks.
What?
It's a slow
Did
time.
he go?
He's going back
Yeah,
to China,
yeah.
he hasn't been home in 6 years,
Oh,
so
that's amazing.
he is going back, and so we will miss him, but,
Ooh,
Best.
there's nobody to take his place, so we are doing the best in-house when we get like emails or constructive criticism to try and handle it, but Wu is not available and there is no backup. So,
but this is also the slowest time of, you would say, the season for
of any
fields.
time for him to go away.
Right, this is the time to do it.
This is the time to do it. It doesn't mean that there aren't things out there that we need to
Mm-hmm.
take care of, but just so you're all aware, he is away.
Question to follow up, I know at town meeting that the town got approved for a second park ranger.
Because it's in the budget.
It's in the budget.
Really?
Yes, we got approved,
It's in the
yes,
budget,
we got
right?
approved for it.
Yes.
That-
I think so too, Chris.
Yes, no, I believe you, because that was one of the things that we were talking about,
Right.
that it was approved in the budget, that I guess, we'll find out, is it posted on our site yet of? I know it's only July 8th or
Basically,
9th, so they
yeah.
probably can't post it till after the new fiscal year that came out, so I know that it was one of the questions or one of the items for the budget.
Stacy's looking so scared.
Where are you messaging? Cause I'm messaging Paris.
Karis, yeah.
There you go. Hey, just want to bring it up.
So when are we hiring the next?
Yeah, I'm sorry, what then? So, okay, let us get back to, no problem, thank you for grabbing my pen.
Yeah.
Let's go into discussion items. I know last meeting, you were only here for a little bit, Jim and I were here, and some of it's gonna be a little repetitive, but I'd rather have everybody on the same page. In regards to the athletic field lights, we had asked about a joint policy, can that be broken? Do we need to come up with a new one in regards to Memorial Fields and having lights on past 9 o'clock? We did come up with the idea is that with the 7 to 8 games that want to be played till 10 o'clock, the Memorial Park trustee, what? For a
Games
reason,
want to be played till 10.
yes, until 10 o'clock,
In the summer.
Baseball.
for summer, for
Baseball.
Legion baseball.
Oh,
It
okay.
always baseball game.
Exactly.
Answer every question.
Legion baseball. So we came up with the idea that you do them as a special event request for the nights that you want it, because the Memorial Park trustees can vote on that. An example would be the same thing like what we do for the 3rd of July, that the lights go on past 10 o'clock. So it was able to be approved through that manner for the handful of times that's going to do it. We are still exploring of renewing the policy and updating it as it is, but to kind of get through the summer season even as a trial, the special event request seems to be working. We haven't heard anything from the neighbors. Okay,
And
Go ahead.
how many of those games are there?
7 to 8, I think.
Oh, so that's, to me, that's a
Yeah.
lot for a special event. I would say especially with 1 or 2.
Mhm.
That's a lot of games.
So, in conversations at the Mohawk meeting and with Bill Germany, there is a clause in the joint field policy. It is way down, but Bill found it. So either the Park and Rec Commission or the Memorial Park trustees can vote to extend the lights as they feel necessary. So it doesn't actually require a special permit. It just requires a vote. It requires a vote at 2 consecutive meetings, just like the 4th of July, 3rd of July. So the Memorial Park trustees have voted, they voted once. They have another meeting tomorrow night to vote the second time to approve these extended lights. So far, I think there's only been 2. While we scheduled
Mhm.
7 or 8, it was a lot of the games got changed or moved or
Right,
whatever.
right.
But so far, there's only been 2, neither of them have gotten past 9:30, according to the light
Mhm.
software system. So they will be voting for that for the summer. That's gonna be the Band-Aid, so to speak.
Mhm.
We can see where it goes. We have not had any pushback from the neighbors or anybody else
But the
about
only
those 2 meetings.
neighbors, oh, sorry, it's interrupt. Sorry, the only neighbors are the ones that are like, that would affect are like 3 houses, right, on Rosemary?
Not Rosemary, we're talking about maybe the other side, because we're talking about Memorial and baseball. So what is that, Kingsbury? Not Kingsbury?
So take that left to go up the hill. to
Oh,
go
and tennis,
school.
well,
Yes,
that's
exactly.
Yeah.
You have all those
Yeah.
houses along the line and
And
then,
that affects them?
Well, the
The lights.
baseball,
yeah, the sound.
down, backs right up to those houses on Kingsbury.
Oh, right,
Right, so if you went out this way, sun's on your right, and take it.
The first left.
turn.
Oh, it's right, there's a bunch of houses
You're
right
right
there.
there, I think there's
Uh,
3.
And there's condos there too. There are condos that are across the street.
I forget about those.
So we haven't had any complaints, we do, summer is our slowest time as far as fields go,
Mhm.
outside of winter. But we have had to make some calls to make sure that the permits are in place, most of the permits. The Legion games are all permitted, but we have had a few random. Pop-up situations where we've been like, you need a permit for this, Woo's been great for that. They've gotten their permits, it's just a matter of educating those folks so that they're aware.
So I'm sure he's right, and I'll be honest, the neighbors around Memorial Park on that side have always been very easy to work with, and just been very amenable, and they seem to love the park. But he's looking at paragraph 14, I think, right, which says jurisdictional boards must initially approve to review the joint policy by a supermajority of each board. Following this approval, each jurisdictional board will allow discussions on 2 meetings or special meeting agendas prior to voting. Is this the one he's talking about, prior to voting its final decision?
Yeah,
Including holding at least 1 public meeting. And so I don't know, just having it on your agenda at your meeting, does that qualify as a public meeting?
legally, yes.
Okay. the jurisdictional board will use reasonable effort to invite a butter. So that would be them. It's their Memorial Park, it's their jurisdiction. And then they have to send those votes. They have to be forwarded to the select board for their approval. Right? That's how I read this. So this is the paragraph he's referring to, which I think it is, because he had mentioned this. Affirmative votes will then be forwarded to the Board of Selectmen for approval at their next meeting. Any such changes shall then be forwarded to the zoning board of appeals, who in its sole discretion shall determine if said change is minor or not requiring a public hearing. So if I'm reading this correctly, and I'm looking at a joint policy. This, what the date of this is.
When I read through it, I didn't see that level of detail, but maybe there's a different section.
Yeah, I'm looking at paragraph 14, and this is from May 2008 is the date of the top. Now, I think there's gotta be something.
There's
more.
there's something more recent.
More.
So I'm gonna make a
Yeah,
note
let's
to
check
look that
that
up
out,
and
see
send
what
it
we
out
find.
and highlight it. Just so that you can see what
And again,
they were speaking of.
it's on, I think it's on them to do
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. but-
Regardless
Right.
of the date, yes, it was both
That's-
on.
Yeah, I have this, I don't know, this policy,
All saved up.
it says 2008. I don't know,
I'll make a note to look at it tomorrow, Cindy, and send it around.
anyway, and again, since it's the trustees, I just would hope they would do it correctly. I also do think, Chris, that 6 or 7 or 8 is a lot for a special permit. Now, if it's not up to us to approve that special permit, then again, it's the trustee's responsibility. on ours. If that was coming to us, as a commissioner, I would probably voice an objection to that and say that's
But that's just one time a week, if it's throughout the summer, right? Is it throughout?
Pretty
the
much.
summer?
right. So that's like,
July
so you would really need
Um,
a permit for that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As opposed to a special. event.
Yeah.
But if it's not on us,
yeah,
Exactly, I guess
I'm not
I'm
From the
saying,
really-
language I read, it seemed as though it wasn't on us. I will revisit it tomorrow
Okay.
just to be clear.
and again,
And I
it's an
did already
overstep
overstep it.
into what the.
Right.
yeah.
Me too.
Dumb question, so. The lights, if they're just using the baseball field, the turf lights still need to be turned on, right?
Correct.
Okay, so. it's
just for the
those-
athletic field that they're using.
Yeah, okay,
And the parking lights are always on, so,
yeah,
I mean, those are on. Okay. Outdoor court policies, just, no,
I
punted.
focused on
Everything else?
the life jacket policy this
Yeah,
weekend.
which, yeah, that's definitely something, yeah.
The-
Can we touch on the dog policy or did that one?
Didn't write that up.
Can we
We
just?
can discuss it.
We can discuss it. So at one of our previous meetings, there is some verbiage on signs that is not consistent with what we say. That I think we need to be consistent, and in regards to the dog policies on parks. We have so many signs up and people still walk by them, but this is more focused also on the playgrounds, that me personally. I don't think you should allow dogs on the playgrounds either, because they could do the same type of things they could do in the fields that we're concerned about, and you have even younger kids. Playing on the playgrounds than you do have older kids playing on the athletic fields. That we're looking at what we can do to update the policy to have a consistency at all of our playgrounds to say. No dogs off leash or even allowed on premise.
Allowed on premise, as we move. Personally, as we move more towards this poured in place rubber surfacing. Dogs can damage that rubberized surfacing a lot. More than mulch, which just gets displaced. And I think. While we all hope it doesn't happen, there's always a chance that dog can get off leash, dog can be triggered, dog chase after a squirrel. I think there's a lot of concerns that could happen. In an enclosed playground. Or even a non-enclosed playground. I just personally, as a dog lover, I'm not comfortable with dogs in playgrounds.
yeah.
In the same way.
And what difference would they do to the board in place? Is that?
So their nails.
Your nail as well as
in
if
the
they.
board, yeah,
Just in case someone asks.
yep, that is.
Somehow I don't think that would be covered under warranty. if
It is
did.
not covered under warranty,
Oh.
but the Greens field, the very old sign of Green says dogs are allowed on leash on the perimeter of the park. And on the outside of the playground, we have no dogs allowed. So we do have a resident reaching out, pushing back, saying, well, there's no policy and there's no bylaw listed, which there is not,
Mhm.
about dogs on playgrounds, so. While we can't change the bylaws, as a commission, we can invoke a policy. That can eventually lead to a bylaw change if necessary.
And are, dogs not allowed at school playgrounds already?
Dogs are not technically supposed to be on school grounds at all.
Unless it is service.
Unless
Okay.
service dogs are different regardless of
Yep.
our locations, including Memorial and Ecclesio.
Yep.
Service dogs are allowed. But yeah.
Recreational ones.
Actually, that reminds me, so I talked to people about the dogs at Memorial a while ago. And people were like, it's a service dog, like, is there a way they can prove that can you ask for papers or anything like that, they can just say that? Lovely.
So it against, it
They
is,
don't have to be wearing a.
it is against the ADA regulations to
To ask.
ask.
Really?
If they say it is a service dog, you have to take them at their word.
Okay.
Sorry, we have to take them at their
Yeah.
word,
Yeah,
and so
Sure.
that's what we do.
but,
But
Yeah.
yes, that is happening more and more.
right.
But there's no, they don't have to wear a special vest, they don't have to.
Same with the.
Yeah, dog in the pool, you don't
In
have
the
to
pool?
allow. Oh.
Jeez.
He had a vest on, he was with. the No,
he was
that was- he had a
Patient
working
dog.
vest.
Oh.
Service.
He was a service dog. It was
But
very-
you wouldn't let a service dog in the pool, right, even if he was, yeah, okay. Okay.
No, he was just laying under the slide in the shade, chilling.
So do we have a proposal to?
Not yet.
Fix the verbiage or to?
So
make it
I'm,
consistent?
my plan this week was to work on the dog policy, but then the life jacket policy.
Which is gonna take preference over.
Yeah, took preference over the dog
Yep.
policy, so we did that, but the dog policy is on the radar, so that hopefully will be done before the next.
Maybe we might as well do it, I don't know how much teeth it will have, I can't believe the number of dogs I saw at the 4th of July, I mean, the 3rd of July, I didn't expect to see any of
A
them.
lot,
Yeah.
But it's just,
so many.
I mean,
The noise alone.
I don't have a dog and I can't imagine why you
That's
bring a
especially
dog
the
to that, it's
flowers.
very, it sounds like
Very
it was
loud.
awful for the dog.
Yep.
So, and I saw a man walking out with 2 dogs, big dogs on a leash, and it was in the middle of hours, and they were pulling him out of the park. And if he had lost control of one of those dogs, I'm sure that dog would have been gone, because they looked frantic. Yeah, so anyway, and not good for the people and the children who might be around too, if the dog got loose, but
Mhm.
it's surprising to me, people profess to love their dogs, and sure
I was
they do,
want to.
but why would you bring
Yeah.
them to the fireworks? Anyway,
A lot.
okay.
Okay.
And some cats, there's a couple cats on leashes.
What?
I didn't see any
I
cats.
saw 2 cats, separate families, both on leashes.
How much fun.
Okay,
And
we're-
one
oh,
in fact was a service cat, was an emotional support cat.
Commission policies.
Yes, commission policies. Thank you very much. Great segue. You have in your hand a 2-page draft policy version 1 for rules and regulations for personal flotation devices.
For you, the real focus is page 1. Page 2 and 3 is some information for the public
Mhm.
on types of vests, how the device works, categories, size and fit, and things to know. Which I would like to add to our policy, but really it's the first page that is our true policy change.
Would you mind just giving a quick recap of why we're looking at?
I would-
Yeah, thank you, since I missed the
I
last,
would-
Yes.
I apologize.
So
It's good, it's good. No,
we
that's fine.
received I received a package that was a documentation of why this family thought that we should update our life jacket policy. As you know, I have been in the aquatics world for 20+ years. And for a very long time, it was like, no life jackets. They create a false sense of security. Parents don't pay as much attention. Kids have a harder time learning to swim. And unfortunately, lifeguards pay less attention if a child is in a life jacket, regardless of how we train them.
Mhm.
This person sent me some very reasonable information. I did some digging, and it turns out the world has changed in the last 20 years. I know. So the Red Cross, American Academy for Pediatrics, the CDC, and the game changer for me was the NRPA, which is the National Rec and Park Association. Recommends that people allow life jackets in their facilities for non-swimmers
I think one of the other things you brought,
across the board. Now, I actually spoke with Devin, apparently in 2018, Patty did allow life jackets, but there was no constraints on life jacket use, so life jackets were used everywhere, and it was a little chaotic.
I don't remember that.
So I reached out, so this person named a few communities of my colleagues, I reached out to the colleagues, they're like, yes, we do this, we do allow, it's very controlled, it is certain types of life jackets, it is certain areas of the pool, things like that, so. The policy that I present to you is very specific about the types of life jackets that we will allow.
So no floaties,
Correct.
no.
No floaties, so they're
Noodles
Coast
or
Guard
anything.
approved, type 1, 2, and 3, not 4 and 5. They will only be allowed in the family pool, they will not be allowed on slides or in the lap pool, because
Mhm.
both of those require a test, a swimming test. And as I adjust to this new philosophy in the world, if you're using a life jacket, you are a non-swimmer. Non-swimmers should not be in water that is 10 feet deep
Will be in there.
or on an active water slide.
agree,
So some of this, you go through, so inflatables, floaties, water wings, suits with built-in floaties, not allowed. Any staff member of Needham Park and Rec can check a
Sure.
life jacket or a flotation device as they see fit. If it looks old, if it doesn't look like a Coast Guard approved, we can check it. They must use the family pool, they must have an adult caregiver within arm's length or a reasonable amount of. They can't just let the child in the water and stand on the side, so they have to be with the child. They're not allowed in the lap pool, and we do have a limited supply of life jackets, because we did purchase them.
Good.
So if people need them for, we wanna make sure that we're equitable and inclusive, so if people need them, we do have them. But we also encourage people to bring their own. Which is why the second and third page is like types and what kind and what certain flotation devices do, because not all life jackets keep a child's face out of the water. In fact, some of them keep the child's face down.
Right, right.
So hence the reason I put some of that information in there. And then at the very bottom, I just talked about our swim lessons and how we have, very accessible swim lessons. And that we have swim lessons for all ages.
And so your staff will have to be trained.
So I'll have to
In how to-
retrain the staff.
Yes,
And
they
how
have
to-
to be focused
Season.
on this, right? They'll have to train them on
Yep.
how to have them properly.
So when this started to come about and I did the research, I did talk to my supervisors. We have 6 supervisors down at the pool. We did talk to them and say, this is not happening yet. But there's a high chance it's going to happen, and these are the things that we're gonna look for, and we'll retrain you, and we'll talk to you about it. The person that submitted the proposal said that we should personally have the lifeguards do the fitting of the life jackets, and I said, absolutely not, I'm not. We have the ability to take away a life jacket, but I am not.
We don't
fitting.
sell them, right?
We're not fitting life
Right.
jackets for one child, but if we feel like that they are not the correct fit, you can say, I'm sorry, we can't let you do that. And the pages 2 and 3 talk about how to decide that the life jacket is the correct.
Typically, they're too big, right? That would
They're
be
almost
a
always too
typical
big,
problem,
because of the
yeah.
parent, probably when young child, you almost always buy things that are like the next size, so that it's time to grow into them, but a life jacket.
And they go up around the child.
Well, if you
ears.
pull it up and
Yeah.
things go in here, it's not
Right.
thing, and adult life jackets fit very different than youth life jackets, So, this is the policy, if anybody has any additions or questions or
And when will you
concerns,
start this? Have you started?
Immediately.
Immediately.
once approved.
Mhm.
I did speak with the family last week, they came in basically to thank me for considering it. They're very appreciative people, they had some great reasons, all of their kids are in swim lessons with us, so, they understand. But often they do have a mom at the pool with 3 kids, which I can relate to, and when my children were younger, I hated, but did have to put my kids in some flotation devices to make sure that they were safe while I was the only one with them. And the world is changing and drowning is still the number
Oh,
one
I heard
cause
in the
of
news
children's death. And we have already had a few in Massachusetts this year. At lifeguard, at garden pools, more of them happen at family backyard parties, but they have had a few.
Mr. Chairman.
Please do.
Have you, I'm gonna assume you have, but communicated this up the chain to the, Katie King, Deputy Town Manager, and then to Kate, so the select board is aware that this is a change. I don't know if this affects our insurance at all or anything like that, but just.
So I can reach out to Dave tomorrow, Dave Davison, who also sort of manages the insurance side of things, just to
Yeah.
double check. I've talked to Katie King to give her a heads up that this is coming, and she was like, you know, we trust your gut on this one, and I understand you'll do the research, and like I said, for me, it was the NRPA that really closed the deal. The Red Cross is obviously about life-saving, American Academy of Pediatrics, all those things, but it was the NRPA that was like, yes, you should do this.
Well, I just think it would be cool us to have it communicated to, the select board
Yeah,
and
I will-
town management.
So I'm meeting
they're
with
aware.
Katie King tomorrow, we have our check-in tomorrow, so I will
Okay.
talk to her about this. And the fact that Wellesley, Natick, Norwood, Weston, Brookline all have life jacket policies,
Mhm.
also sealed the deal for me, and it was like, okay, Weston was the one that I was hoping would be the holdout, but they were not.
I actually think it's a great idea. I
Yeah.
appreciate that you've, done the research and considered.
And
I think it's,
and it
great. I would
does-
vote in favor of this if that's where we go, but
And
I
it-
just like everyone to be aware.
No.
Yeah, I agree, and it does talk to about like inclusivity and equity of people that don't have access to swim lessons. Now, we obviously can give access to swim lessons, and I know the commission is happy to give free swim lessons to anybody that needs it. But regardless of how many publications we put out there, people don't know that.
Mhm.
So part of the training will be like, yes, you're gonna check life jackets, yes, we're gonna okay them, but also we're gonna say, hey, did you know? We
Yeah.
have swim lessons.
Mhm.
Try
We
to,
have that.
Right.
try to sell them on the idea
Yeah.
of signing up for.
And so that will be, and we'll do some of the signage, and we'll put more signage about our swim lessons, and in fact, interestingly enough, we're also working with some of our town staff to allow them to come to the pool as part of working for the town.
Mhm.
And one of our DPW workers were like, do you do swim lessons for adults? Cause I don't know how to swim, and I was like, it's fine.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And he was like, great, I'm gonna sign up.
Good for adults.
Done.
Stepping up.
So
That's fabulous.
I just have one question. So in the event that, it probably will happen, hopefully not, but. One of the supervisors finds a device not appropriate and they get some feedback about that. What's the process then? Like if they.
The process will be, you can borrow one of our life jackets for today. If you have any questions about, we're gonna print out some pamphlets from the Coast Guard on how to purchase the right. But we do have, I would say, about 40 life jackets
Oh, good.
in our short-term storage that can be used in the event that we're like, this does not fit your child, we're gonna give you one for today.
Yeah,
Next
And
time.
if you have any,
That's
if you can, here's a pamphlet, go buy one, and if you have any questions,
yeah,
at the very least, you can always email me.
yeah.
Did you buy 40? Is that how many you bought?
They were here.
They were already here.
That's from looking at them, that's my guess.
And they're,
of them.
and they're in good.
They're in
shape.
great condition, I think they were used like 3 times. They're in great conditions, and
Wow.
you are supposed to reevaluate them every year, and
Mhm.
actually, life
Good
jackets
thought.
do have an expiration date on them, they do, they absolutely do, so. We will take a look at ours at the end of the season and see if we need to purchase some more, but they are in good shape.
Right.
Any other further questions? All right, I will make a motion to approve our version of policy for personal flotation devices with the caveats, as long as we check with upper management in regards to the insurance policy and any other minor questions that they have, and as long as it passed the test, that we adopt this immediately and put it into effect here at Rosemary Pool.
Second.
We have a motion in a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Passes unanimously. Great job on that.
Thank you, Stacy, and.
Anything else on commission policies or? Okay. CPC. Jim. You have a meeting coming up on the 31st? 31st, okay.
And I'm sure we'll be discussing the, because we're gonna be answering questions, giving them stuff, so.
Okay.
And I missed the last meeting.
He's here with us.
Yeah, I would say, yeah,
Yes.
for 37 whole minutes. Great. So, okay, keep us informed about that one on our August meeting. Playgrounds and facilities.
No new updates, plugging away. I did do we did a playground walk with somebody from the schools. Myself and I went out to Broadmeadow, Mitchell. Those are the two we checked out because that's where the camps are this summer to check on a few things. We just replaced almost all the swings in town at the schools. Some of them were the wrong chain length, which is hilarious. So.
Please explain.
Sure, so the new regulation is swings are set at an 8-foot height. But we have playgrounds that are slightly older, and so some of them are 10 feet high. And if you put an 8-foot swing on a 10-foot
Yeah.
pole and you have Woo stand next to it and the swing comes up to here, it's pretty hilarious.
That's fine.
So we have had to reorder some longer chains for some of our playgrounds, so
But the structure is still fine.
the structure's totally
It's
fine, there's
It's
no
just-
need, it's just,
Too tall.
Back at the time.
you know, they update the regulations every so often, and he was like, I think these are too short, and I said, we just need to fix the mulch, the mulch is like probably. And then I got a picture,
Put a step.
and I got a picture, and I was like, oh no, these are wrong. So, it's a hilarious picture. So, you know, things like that, we were out at Broadmeadow and there was a few things that I was like, oh, that, so. The new swing chains are just stainless steel. The old swing chains had like a rubber coating on them.
Oh, yeah.
What happens with the rubber coating is it cracks. And then it creates a place where kids can get pinched or scratched.
Yeah.
And so as we catch these things, and it's not just swings, it's like climbing apparatus, so as we go through and I'm like, ooh, we need to update that, there's nothing wrong with it. But it should be updated, like there's a climbing chain ladder at Newman that's actually in our office. That has that coating on it, that looks like it's gonna crack at any moment. Wu said he would tackle that when it gets back. So we're starting to see things and order them before they really go bad. Which is a huge step.
Okay. Would you say some of the newer playgrounds are the shorter type, where the 8-foot?
So anything from, I wanna say 2015 and later are 8-foot height, that's the regulation, 2014 or 2015, if I remember correctly. So anything older, which are the large number of our playgrounds, are 10-foot, like Hillside has 10-foot height, Broadmeadow has 10-foot and 8-foot heights. Greens has 8, Newman has 8, Elliott has what's that? Mitchell has a 10. And actually,
Williams is good.
Yeah, Williams.
Williams is fine. And actually at Mitchell, we had to, they're 8-foot height, but we had to add a 10-foot chain because there's a child that attends that school with dwarfism. And so even though the regulation says that it should be up to my knee, that child can't get on the swing on their own. So we have lowered that swing as an adaptive reasoning. So those are the things that we're starting to look at. Some of it's nitty gritty, some of it's bigger, but those are what we're doing. And I did get a request, and I'm gonna do it, much to my dismay, to replace the playground sand and the sandboxes that we have.
Yikes,
We still have
Where-
3 sandboxes in town.
we do?
People love them. I do not.
I've given anybody $1 to play the 3,
Oh,
it can't be you.
People knew the amount of bacteria.
So
Yeah.
in those 3 places, and they are all pocket parks, we will replace them until we can replace the playground. And at which time the sandboxes will.
Mills is one?
Yeah.
Perry?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, stopping on the third one.
It's like the most popular.
Oh, Riverside.
Riverside, yes.
Pocket Park.
And we're
Yeah.
replacing,
Yeah.
we're replacing the basketball nets at
Oh, really?
Riverside and at Cricket, so those, cause those. You know, we get replacement, we get a request, like the nets are junk and Will goes out and goes, Stacy, you need.
It's-
And then I order a new pole.
Yeah, it's not been there.
Yeah,
It's not just.
he's
been-
like, I replaced the net, but
Mhm.
you got it. So we're replacing those two, so we're, you know, a little bit here and there, and it actually makes a big.
Is anyone still putting sandboxes in anywhere?
Nobody's putting
No.
sandboxes in. I call my playground people and they're like, where do I get sand? And they're like, oh. And they're like, "Oh, Home Depot, I'm like,
Are you serious?
thanks.
At the beach? Okay. One thing, if I can kind of do a little caveat here in regards to facilities, I think I brought this up to you at last meeting, that there was an email going around by some of the user groups of what can or what should be done with the Carlton Pavilion.
Oh,
And I know
yes.
that it is on one of our master plans. I don't know.
Capital plan,
It
it's
is.
out, it's out of ways.
Exactly. So I know that that is one being generated, that we do appreciate the support of the other user groups, because that will help build momentum. But some of the ideas that I saw in the email were a waste of time of just it wouldn't be worth putting money into the place. It's, again, me speaking for myself, the whole place needs to be demolished. It's not up to code. It's a great building. It's named after great people, but it's just,
outlived.
it's outlived its longevity, and it needs to be updated, and it was built, again, 25 years ago, 20,
Stuff in the late '90s.
yeah, late
Can I
90s.
play devil's advocate?
Go ahead.
So it does provide
Mhm.
shelter for summer and lightning.
Mhm.
I mean, so does the tunnel, you know,
Pollard Tunnel.
in between Pollard. It's not, having been there when a lot of other groups, like for the high school, been there and it was hard to squeeze all of us underneath that tunnel. So that would be my only thing, if we got rid of that, like,
Oh, I'm saying
But that's
replace.
not- yeah,
Not-
that's-
not-
replace.
replace,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
with something
Oh,
way
yeah,
better.
Demolish it and.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not saying get rid of it, I'm saying
Okay.
replace, so.
The other thing, just that we have to keep in mind, while it is park and recreation land, it is a building,
Mhm.
which means it will fall under half at least the jurisdiction of the building department,
Mhm.
so. It is on their radar as well to take a look at it. My philosophy, and it is just, I'll go on the record of my philosophy, is if it is not a year-round building, plumbed bathrooms do not, they are wildly expensive and they break often, and as much as people dislike porta potties, that is really the way to go. For a year-round building, we should have as many bathrooms as we can accessible. I wanna go see if they need your help.
that's fine.
But I do think providing a shelter or
Sure.
pavilion of some
Safety.
sort,
Yeah.
absolutely, storage also there. But upon that building in the 4 years I've been here has cost me an astronomical amount of money because of vandalism.
Yeah.
And it's due in part because it is not.
Yeah,
But yes, I don't think we should take it away. I think we just have to
yes,
revision it.
yeah, and I think people have gotten used to the porta potties by now too, I mean.
I think so too. I
Yeah.
think we're hearing less complaints.
And our
Yeah.
new company that we have is
Better.
And
I,
the
I-
company is.
the Throne Depot.
I love that name, yeah.
And the
I
Throne
have to
Depot,
say-
like, they called me on July 4th and they were like, the gate to Broadmeadow is locked, we can't get in.
Like it's July 4th.
And I was like, have you tried the key I gave you for Hillside? It's the same key, let's do that. And they were like, oh yeah, it works. But the minute they can't get in, I get a phone call.
Wow.
And they're like, I know you can't meet us today, can you meet us tomorrow? We'll change the cleaning day. So
Yeah.
the company we have is very good.
Good.
They are.
Good,
And they are keeping
fantastic.
up with it, and they called me and said, in the spring, they said, Fazio needs to clean 3 times a week, 2 times isn't gonna cut it. And I said, okay.
They were always clean when I.
And they moved to 3, and then July 1, we moved back to 2.
Mhm.
And then September 1, we're moving back to 3, although we might move that up a little with
Sure.
fall training, things like that, but they are very responsive and very communicative, so
Okay.
that's been helpful.
I love that.
One other thing, I'm not sure what this kind of falls in, but I'm just gonna spit it out. Went to the traffic management, what was it called again?
T-Mac.
No, it's not
No,
T-Mac
T-Mac
anymore.
was the
It's
other one.
Traffic Safety
Safety.
Commission, it's.
Is that the new
TMAC
T-Mac?
has- That
T-Mac
is the new
combined.
TMAC, so it's TSC.
Yes, so at the police station, that was always fun going in there.
Oh, in the conference room?
Very beautiful room,
I know, we go there, we have meetings there all the time, it's awesome.
quite nice.
Didn't you ever take the tour?
No, never went through the tour. I represented the Park and Rec in regards to the issue that we're having on George Agate and Sutton Road to ask for help or guidance or any suggestions that we can to help alleviate the problem of parking on George Agate. That one of the suggestions that was made in one of our previous meetings is that we could get permit parking only, resident permit parking only.
That was
That
suggested by one of the residents.
by one of the residents, yes.
That's a good suggestion.
And it got shot down as quickly as it came. That the
Yeah.
town of Needham does not allow that in
There is no
any
resident
sector of
parking anywhere.
town. It's one of those things that they just don't do it. So with
But
their,
sometimes you have to do things.
I know, but in regards to everything, it was very insightful being there, that they saw Lieutenant McGrath is again as part of that group. There are other members that have been throughout the community that they all agree, yes, it is a problem, but again, how do you enforce something that's unenforceable? Is the main topic again that came out of it. That there are some suggestions of putting up different color signs now that the public safety will put up in time. I don't have a date yet of when that will be, but it is a trial and error type of thing. Of see if that can work. There are even ideas about putting out a barrel or such on the street to alert people of what's going on. Again, we ask for all suggestions that will help us as much as we can on our side, but you know, it's not WU's job 100% of the time to be a traffic cop. It is, we'll communicate as much as we can to our user groups. What I said is one of the things that we fault on is that we can only communicate to the groups that we know. That when you have people in groups from out of town, how do we communicate? I don't know who's coming. I don't know if someone's aunt, uncle, cousin, grandmom, or grandchild, you know, is coming. I can't reach out to all of them and say, hey, you know, out of courtesy, can you please not park on George Agate? It's still going to happen and we're trying to lessen as much as possible, but there's not.
It's gonna get worse if the crosswalk gets put there.
It's, that's the other part too, is that we're gonna have to just do the best we can and over communicate to the public and just. I hate to say fingers crossed, but it's going to happen. It's not gonna go away quickly.
Can we put a sign?
They're gonna put a sign up.
They are?
We did signs last year,
Okay.
that said. No athletic field parking.
Oh.
It created more confusion, not less.
Creating more parking.
Oh,
And
really?
more parking, and
Mhm.
so actually one of the lieutenants said, can you please take these down, it's causing more havoc. And one of the residents also who asked us to put it up, asked us to take it down, so we did try doing like laminated signs, like please don't, and that was more chaos than it.
Yeah.
And I know the soccer club puts up signs throughout the Memorial Day tournament. I don't know if that gets enforced.
That's a part-time request, like you can, like for the 4th of July, you might see like no parking here, signs all over the place, that's a part-time
Temporary.
specific temporary no parking ban. Which is what the soccer tournament has,
Sure,
but we can't do that for all of fall and all of spring.
got it. Okay, so I just want to bring that update to everyone.
So is there, what's the next step on that?
We're waiting for, I would assume it's public safety or that committee that is going to put up the sign that they talked about, and I can't remember the color they were going with. I think it's going to be yellow.
And is the sign going to?
It is a
say
sign.
no Parking
Don't
or?
know exactly
Please
the
park
verbiage.
across the street? Yeah, okay.
I will, we
Just
will get to,
curious.
when we hear from public safety and when it's going up, we will find out what the message will be on said sign. And it's not gonna be like a small sign the size of a piece of paper. I think it's going to be a good sized sign that you be very hard to miss it. Okay,
And still not enforceable.
exactly, still.
Right,
uh,
and that's the
Ignore it.
issue, right, and that was Lieutenant McGrath's issue, right, I can't.
We can put some
something
down
down
here.
there.
Here's the other
We have nothing for them to enforce.
You hear it from him because he was at one of our meetings, but then they have a board of 6 or 7. Majority of them also said the same exact thing Lieutenant McGrath said. How do
We
you
don't,
enforce
we
something?
don't
that's
have any,
enforced?
there's no teeth, right?
Yep, exactly. So, all right, that's all I have on that one.
Well,
Any
thank
update
you
on,
for coming.
any update on trails? Yay,
before I went on vacation, the end of last month, I met with Amy Halson, who taught me how to do a fillable form on the website, so just like you do a field permit request. So it is there, it's inactive right now, but we felt like it was more important to do that type of form rather than See Click Fix, because See Click Fix does take a while to get assigned to the two of us, one of us. And so we have that right now, still trying to figure out what the details of like an orientation will look like, but I've been reaching out to a couple of different towns and seeing what they do and what works well for them. I know that the last time that it was running was pre-COVID, and I think that there's maybe a couple things that I would like to change as the person who would be overseeing it from the Park and Rec standpoint. Just to make it easier for everyone.
You're still working on that video?
Yeah, I have the presentation done, but the video for what like an online orientation will look like will be kind of similar to a commission meeting and like me going through a presentation.
Awesome. We look forward to that. Sorry, this last one. Hey, it's there. Anything else under discussion items?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's move on to our action items and approvals, special events.
That first one is Tuesday.
Let's get to it.
The Norfolk Lodge?
From the lodge?
For Mills, wanting Mills exclusive use.
Norfolk Lodge, let's see, Mills
Mills?
Field.
But is it just the fields and not, so not like the.
So Mills
courts?
multi-purpose is the green area, so it's all the area outside the.
Gotcha,
The
okay.
field proper.
I think they always do that.
We've done this
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it.
Yeah.
They used to be at Claxton,
Okay.
and then we have moved them.
To Mills.
Then it's fine.
It's like in the-
Sports.
No, no, no.
Yeah, okay,
But fair.
yes.
I would make a motion that we approve the special event request from the Norfolk Lodge.
Aye. Okay.
Second,
There we go.
I would ask if our director or staff have any issues with it.
None. For that date and time, we have none.
All right, we have a motion in a second. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the Norfolk Lodge event at Mills Field, say aye. Passes unanimously. Scroll down to the next one.
Second one is Zena's, so she has
Oh.
14.
I'm confusing
This one, we're
myself.
going to pick up
No,
ours.
it's Susie.
Oh, oh my
It's a
goodness.
coach's meeting in this room. It has been done in the past.
This is the coaches meeting, right? I would,
Whoa.
I would make a motion that we approve the special. I'd make a motion to approve the special event request from Needham Music Field Hockey for the coaches training.
I will second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the Needham Youth Field Hockey event, please say aye. Aye. And one abstention.
Will the pool still be open then?
The date?
There's a chance.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's
We hope.
originally
Yeah, fingers
it was
crossed.
supposed to be.
Also,
Good.
just
Like-
like, no,
I had one.
like, if there's no parking available.
Yes.
Make sure that they same side of the street as us, but up on the left.
The upper parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's it, only those two events?
Wow.
Okay, now we'll go to the meeting
Minutes
minutes.
of May 29th, which we were not able to approve last meeting. but
Yeah.
we- and-
Oh,
Yeah, we did,
yeah,
we did
that's
three.
great. I would make a motion to
Oh.
approve the Park and Rec Commission meeting minutes of May 29, 2022.
Second, okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the Park and Rec Commission meeting minutes from May 29th, say aye. Aye.
Oh, wait, maybe I was here.
Not,
No, you
No.
don't know.
Okay.
See where it says absent?
It says you were
Oh,
absent.
well, my computer's outside.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay, all right.
and then the 26 minutes we can also approve.
All right, are they in the packet?
They were
They
sent
were
with
sent in
the,
That's the second one, okay.
with the life jacket policy.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of the 26th.
I was here.
Yeah, you were.
You were-
Oh, I have to read them, I didn't, I
They
will be
were
honest,
very well done.
because I thought I was here for that, so.
I was not here, so I can't.
Oh, shoot, so we have to vote on
Yeah,
that
we do.
next time.
No, three of us,
No,
no, because Jim and I were here, and so were you.
Oh,
That makes three. Okay, I have a motion, and do we have a second?
second.
Okay, either one. All right,
And you're.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes of the meeting of the 26th, please say aye. Aye.
And I will abstain.
And I abstain. There you go.
I can't believe
Trust that you read that.
Yeah, I did, yeah, I forgot they were on that other part. Just 2 or 3 quick other things, Bob Baker. Sent an email in regards to the disc golf, everything is going great, they haven't done the feasibility study yet, because they're waiting for. I thought I read an email that one of the people that were doing it was on tour. And was coming back after.
I thought they.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay,
I don't.
Right. tour,
Wow.
yeah, oh, yeah,
Did we-
so, did I read that wrong, let me see. Nice. I thought it was just last week that he said, let's see.
Oh, it happened. Very good.
I thought it happened, yeah, I thought we
Look
read
at
about
the
it,
screen.
yeah.
It's the picture.
Share.
Okay, one second.
We had-
Oh, okay, it was the other gentleman, the Zotos, he returns, okay, I thought he was the one doing the study, my mistake. So when that comes in, I would stop, we're very excited to see how that comes out.
Okay, that was one. What are your other ones?
I do have to say again, the Exchange Club knocked it out of the park with July 3rd.
Yes.
And I mean, I have to say, shorter and sweeter was the better way.
I totally agree.
21 minutes of constant fireworks going off compared to one here, 30 seconds later, another
I
one.
loved
I
it.
thought the show was
Well,
excellent.
thank you.
The finale
Um,
was.
I heard lots of good things.
The finale was awesome. And my wife and I have been to 24 parades. And she said this is the one that she loved the most.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
trying to be nice, but
Thank
no,
you for that.
Hannah's gonna mock me.
I loved it too,
My
after
favorite
12
was
of
that
them.
people post the pictures from that parking lot over there.
Yeah.
Over the lake.
Yeah,
Yes, I remember the first year that we had the new pool, that just to see the picture of the fireworks with it on the lake was beautiful. So, okay. Anything else anybody would like to bring up? And mock me for?
Oh.
I don't
All
know. I have a list.
right, big attack in the package, we're gonna make this official. Topics for future meetings, dog policy. Court policy, excuse me, yeah, court and dog. Looking up at the next meetings, 22nd, everybody good for that one?
Yes,
Okay,
I won't be aware, but I will zoom in to
Okay.
the next 2 meetings. think
I
that's
won't
all.
be at this.
But I will- I will-
I will not be at the August 12th meeting either.
That's 3.
Well,
Let's focus on the next meeting.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be depending on.
I will not.
22nd, talk, 22nd,
Hannah
maybe
will be
Michelle will be
running.
back by then, who
Dan
knows?
will be running the meeting on the 22nd.
August, so which meetings are you on for?
Just the July 22nd.
You're
I'll
out
be
for
in
that.
Bar Harbor. We all know what happens when I'm in Bar Harbor. So
Right.
just
Yeah.
a heads up.
All right.
What happens?
The great story.
The lake
Oh,
wasn't.
Yeah.
And then which meeting are you going to?
I will probably not be at the 12th,
Same,
so.
So we need to make sure
that
that.
would be.
I'm gonna do it just full.
That early?
Right.
Jace needs 29th.
Yeah, but it's the 12th.
Yeah, they play football, dude. They go back to school early, they're supposed to start.
July?
29th.
Oh, I thought you
In
said-
20 days, 21 days,
Jeez.
yeah,
I think that's
I'm gonna be an empty nester,
fantastic.
no.
No, okay,
Fantastic.
all right, anything else? Skip ahead, skip ahead. All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, I will second it.
I.
All those in favor, please say aye.
I-
Thank you all very much.